seems to me the Niners have some big slot options that they're not willing to give up on yet. Hurd, Jennings, also Sanu, who's old. So let me ask about some smaller guys who are fast, maybe could play outside because of their speed. How about Rondale Moore? What do you like about him, or what do you notice about him?
He's probably my favorite slot as far as what I've seen so far. Now I think some people might knock him a little bit because he's only 5'7", right? But when you watch him on film, and you watch him like as a true freshman, how productive he was at Purdue, how he killed Ohio State, and everybody talks about the kid Sean Wade as he was really good in the slot. Well, he got destroyed by Rondale Moore, who was a true freshman. Yeah. And he shows all the ability to do everything that the 49ers like. Whether he's that quick, twitchy guy, get open right now, he gives you that. And he's a good safety blanket from that aspect. If you want a guy that can just get the ball in his hands and him catch passes or end arounds and all those things, he does that. But unlike some of the 49ers guys right now that just don't have that pure elite speed, he gives you that as well. So he's somebody that can
what did he run,
catch
like
a ball.
Something?
Yeah, like 4.3, low 4.3s, I believe.
Okay.
Maybe 4.2, but I want to say it was like 4.3, 4, something like that.
Okay.
And he literally has that type of speed, plays with that type of speed as well. Because it's one thing to kind of run a 40 like that. It's another thing to be able to play with that type of speed. And I think he does a tremendous job of that. So I say out of the guys that are like pure slots, with him, Tony, the other Moore, Elijah Moore, I would say he's my favorite.
Now, I know like he's off the charts in pretty much every athletic measurement and with his production, but he's 5'7". So he's going to go pretty high in this draft. Like, do you have a thing against drafting wide receivers who are that short, that high in the draft? Is that a thing for you?
I think only if I plan on using this guy as an outside receiver as well. At 5'7", like it's one thing to be Steve Smith and be like 5'9", 5'10".
Yes.
But when you're shorter than that and you're only 5'7", and you're being asked to win on the outside, I'm pretty sure he can win there sometimes, make a living there. But what really happens is it shrinks the window for the quarterback. You were talking about that with Deebo Samuel going over the middle. I remember that after he was drafted.
Yes, absolutely.
The catch radius isn't big. Now, when you have a guy that's 5'7", that makes it even tougher where your quarterback has to be pinpoint with his accuracy. And there's no area you have no window of missing. So I think he's more of a guy that would probably purely play in the slot, and that's the only thing that I would say is a big negative about him being 5'7".
So the projection is like Trent Taylor or Wes Welker with serious speed.
Right, an elite skill set guy. Now, whether he has it mentally, and I think that's sometimes what's the difference between a guy like Wes Welker and I don't want to say like, the white small receivers are all smart and the black small receivers isn't. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like, that would be the difference between why Wes Welker was so successful and if Rondale Moore isn't it's probably that because maybe he doesn't get that part of the game.
Well, I do know that Purdue's head coach is Jeff Brom, who was a backup quarterback in the NFL, and I'm assuming is running an NFL type.
Was he a quarterback at Louisville? Was he a quarterback at Louisville?
He was. Yes, he was.
I don't know how I remember that, but...
So I would imagine that Rondale Moore is probably pretty advanced, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about another Moore, Elijah Moore. You mentioned him. He's fast too. He went to Ole Miss. They got a pretty good track record. What do you think?
Watching him, he just looked so small on field. And again, I'm not somebody that puts a whole lot into like the measurables. I want to go more off of how they play. But I just think when you're that tiny, like I'm looking at him like, man, he looks tiny. Like Rondale Moore is short, but he doesn't just look tiny when you're watching him on film. Watching Elijah Moore, real tiny, and I thought, okay, your game is all based off of speed. Like that's your game. And I didn't think that he consistently used his speed as a threat on each play. I thought there were times where I'm like, man, him running routes is not as explosive as I would ideally like to see. Now, obviously, like, he was very productive. I think he won at, different levels. But I would like to see for somebody that is a little more speedier, then smaller, so it's like going to be tough for him to win with any type of physicality. Can you learn to play with more high-end controlled speed as a receiver? That's one thing I would really like to see from him.
Also, it seems like the last couple of years, the Niners have been prioritizing like toughness over just pure speed at wide receiver. Every wide receiver they've taken has been able to break a tackle the last couple of years. So it doesn't seem like this guy really fits into that.
Not as much as Rondale Moore would.
Rondale Moore does. Okay.